Hi everybody, I'm Wendy Twist. Can you hear me okay with this mic? I'm going to tell you all about the Oxford Trust, but first of all I just wanted to see who we've actually got in the room. How many people work for or run a science or technology based company? Okay. And how many work or run companies that support science and technology businesses? Oh right, okay, a lot more. And any non-profits, any social enterprises or social businesses? No, just me, okay. The Oxford Trust is a business, just like any other, but we're also registered as a charity, and the reason for that is that we invest all of our profits into our social programme to try and make a difference to the science and innovation scene in Oxfordshire. And I'm just going to explain to you how we work and what we do, and how we feel we're making a difference. Is that right? So this is our business model. I'm not expecting you to read all the tiny print in there, but I just wanted to show you the kind of overall shape of our business, because it's actually a really simple model. We work under three headings: enterprise, education, engagement, and on the left-hand side in the blue boxes is what we actually do. And on the right-hand side in the green boxes is the impact that we want to have and the difference that we're making to science and technology in Oxfordshire. And I'm just going to quickly tell you from the left-hand side what we do under each of those headings. So as far as enterprise goes, our support for enterprise is focused on the innovation centre that we own in the middle of Oxford, called the Oxford Centre for Innovation. Do people know about that one? It's the one that's right next to the castle complex, kind of tucked in behind the mound. And in there we house very early to mid-stage companies. We don't run the building ourselves, we leave that to the experts. It's run by Oxford Innovation, who run all sorts of innovation centres across the country. We've got about 40 companies in there at the moment, 260 employees and entrepreneurs. In the bottom right of the screen, that's Oxford Hackspace. We've got a massive basement which we provide free of charge to Oxford Hackspace, which is it's like a super garage. It's where people can go. We've got laser cutters, 3D printers, all sorts of kit where people can go and actually have a go, working in groups, to actually try and bring their very, very early stage ideas from ideas to an actual product. We also support VentureFest, which I'm sure you all know about, by funding people on its team. We run the Oxford Trust Enterprise Awards to try and encourage and raise the profile of very early stage businesses. And we're going to be awarding this year's winner at a very swanky dinner the night before VentureFest on the 28th of June. And then the final thing we do is that we fund research into things that kind of enable people in our sector to talk with one voice about the challenges of working in the science and tech sector. A good example is the Oxfordshire Innovation Engine, which is a report that was launched in 2014 by Lord Drayson. We're all claiming Lord Drayson today. And this is being refreshed at the moment, and the new version, the updated version, will be launched, we hope, in May. And the interesting thing, I think, the difference about the Oxford Trust to other businesses is that all the profits that we make from this enterprise-facing work is all invested back into the organisation to support two really important programmes. The first one is education. And through our education programme, we try to provide a pathway to a career in science and technology, or STEM. Is everyone familiar with the term STEM in the room? Science, technology, engineering and maths. So if I just say STEM, people will know. Okay. And you know, we believe that you've got to get to people early. You've got to get to kids very early in primary school, when they've got a real natural curiosity in everything scientific. And then you've got to try and keep that interest going when they get to secondary school, try and encourage them to do science-based GCSEs and A-levels if possible, and then help them transition into a science-based career, we hope. So that's what our education team does. We provide outreach science activities for primary schools right across Oxfordshire. We're supporting 10,000 school children. We have 5,000 kids entering our big science competition. We do CPD for primary school teachers, 300 a year. And the idea is that we just keep the kids' natural interest going until they get into secondary school. So that by the time they get to secondary school, they haven't lost it. At secondary, it's all about the world of work, encouraging people to stick with science and keep it going. We coordinate a network of 800 STEM ambassadors, and this is just men and women from research organisations, from businesses who go into schools free of charge and act as positive role models and talk about what they do in their jobs. We also do apprentice placements, so kids can have a taste of what it's like to do an apprenticeship for 4 or 5 weeks. And we do research placements as well, which are a bit longer. And the idea is that it builds children's confidence in taking science subjects and just helps them make that transition into work. The third prong of our work is public engagement. And this is about engaging the wider public in science. And the reason for this is that we really need buy-in from the public to make our science businesses successful. We need public approval of what we do. It's not helpful if the first time people hear about a new scientific innovation is when it's in a shocking negative headline in a tabloid. So again, we bring researchers out of the universities, out of local businesses, out of science tech businesses, and we get them to talk to the public, engage in hands-on science, and engage in debates. So the idea is that the public can hear firsthand real information about the real science that's going on and making up their own minds. So I hope that's clear about our three-pronged model, enterprise, education, engagement. To try and bring it to life a bit, I thought I'd share 2 really quick case studies with you. This is John Boyle, who's the MD of Oxford Computer Consultancies. He's a very successful entrepreneur. He started his business with 2 people in a shed, that's the shed, on Oseney Mead. This was the Oxford Trust's very first innovation centre. And John has obviously been involved with our very early efforts to try and help early stage businesses get off the ground. His business is very successful. He does IT solutions for a whole range of companies, and he's done full circle because he's now come back into the Oxford Trust as the chairman of our board. Oh, I've lost a slide. Is there a techie person here? No, I've lost it. And anyway, I'll tell you about it. There was another slide of a young girl called Coral Dalitz, who is a 16-year-old girl at Cheney School. She is someone who first came to our events at the age of 5, brought by her mum. Since then, she's stuck with various events at Science Oxford. She's ended up volunteering at our computer coding workshops, our science summer camps. And then last year, she organised single-handedly an event for her school, Cheney School, where she got the best speakers from Science Oxford, Oxford University, Oxford Brookes, to come along and talk to her peers about the sort of jobs you can get if you study science. So she's a successful entrepreneur to be. She's now in 6th form, and we have loads of anecdotal stories like Coral's. I think it just reinforces our belief that if we're going to have kids coming out of our schools that are good quality scientists, we have to get to them really early at primary school level. 3 things about us that are different. First of all, we're a neutral organisation. We're a business and a charity. We only have one mission, and that's to encourage the pursuit of science and enterprise. We're independent. We're small, and the reason we can do so much is because everything we do is delivered through partnerships, and I think because we're independent, it helps us to form those partnerships. And then finally, the more our enterprise business grows, the more money we can spend on our education and public engagement program. So the more our business grows, the bigger our positive social impact, although we individually don't get any richer, unlike the other businesses here. 2 new things to be excited about. The first is our new business lounge, which is not going to look anything like this, but I couldn't actually find an image of a business lounge with people in it, amazingly. This is the business lounge that we're going to be opening at our Innovation Centre in New Road. It's going to be for very early stage businesses, mix of hot desking and co-working space. It'll have 24-hour access, high-speed Wi-Fi, everything that an early-stage entrepreneur needs, flexible charging, no tie-ins with contracts. We're opening that this summer, and you will all be invited to the launch party. The second thing that we're really excited about is a new innovation centre that we are developing up in Headington with the working title of Stansfeld Park. What we're building is an innovation centre for early to mid-stage businesses and a science education centre where we can bring children from primary schools all over Oxfordshire to come and have hands-on, experiential learning in science. It's an amazing place. It's in 18 acres of woodland. It's very accessible. It's close to the John Radcliffe, the Churchill, the old campus there, you know, the bit of Headington that's becoming known as the Health Sciences Quarter. So it's very accessible, but it will be a great place to work because you'll be able to go outside and relax in this very, very nice environment. We're going into planning this summer. We'll be holding lots of meetings to tell people about it and share the news. So I'm responsible for raising the funds for the Science Education Centre bit of the park. So if anyone can help or wants to know more or just wants to be on the mailing list, please come and give me your business card at the end of this session. Thank you.